everyone, and welcome to another of What Are We Thinking with Booming Encore. My name is Susan Williams, and I'm the founder of Booming Encore, and I'm delighted to welcome back Jeff Weiss. Jeff is the CEO of Age Majority and is here to talk to us about some of the things that they're learning through their market research organization. So welcome back, Jeff. Great to see you.
Susan, again, great to be with you. Happy September. Summer isn't over yet. It's not dead yet. So
That's right. We've still got a few more days left. So we're going to squeeze every little bit of sunshine and warmth out of it, at least up where we are.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's get started, Jeff. Self-checkouts, they're popping up all over the place. What's people's thoughts on these? Are they liking them, not liking them?
Well, let me ask you a question first. Do you use them? If you go grocery shopping, do you use them?
I do, actually. I do favor them, but I'm going to tell you one really quick story that made me start to think about it. I was actually going through the checkout, and they actually had a person in the drugstore trying to get people to go to the checkout, and an older person actually came up and said, "I don't want to check out that way. I want to actually talk to somebody."
Yes.
Which made me stop and think that as we slowly embrace some of this stuff, what are some of the social ramifications of some of this technology that we're actually bringing in? But what did you discover?
So I'll come to that point in a second. So I was actually surprised that the number was this high, but about 85%, almost 9 out of 10 active agers actually use self-checkouts when they're shopping. And most of them, the vast majority, really like them, which is great. But that number was bigger than I thought it'd be. So, there's less than 20% who don't like using them. And so we asked kind of why for those people. And, the number one, I just don't like them. It's like the catch. I just don't like them, right? But other people, to your point, the other main, reason was I like to talk to people, right? As someone waiting in line, trying to get through, I hate those people who want to talk, to the cashier, but you want to talk to people. And some of them end up needing help anyway. And sometimes using coupons, we know our active agents like to use coupons, just more difficult to use. Once you've done it, it's easy, but like a lot of things like, I didn't want to have to deal with them. But like I said, the vast majority like using them. We said, why do you like using it? Firstly, faster. We've all been in stores, there's lineups everywhere. And then over there, I can get through if I do myself as the trade-off or not. So faster. And then this isn't a big number, less than 10%, but there are a group of people that prefer not to talk to someone at the cash, right? So
yeah, just get me out of here. I want to get in and out and not have to talk to anyone.
Yeah. So for those people who kind of use them on a regular basis, the main reasons, short lines, these are people who prefer to just regularly use regular cash, or when they would use a regular cash, so short lines, and they'll use them instead of going to self-checkout. Weighing items, which can be a pain because you got to find the code and all that, and then big bulky items, which can sometimes be difficult to pick up or scan. But overall, I was surprised that self-checkouts are pretty well used by our revolutionaries.
And we've just seen them, at least where we are, coming into Costco. So they must be obviously something that's here to stay for sure.
Yes. Yeah, the automation of life. Yes.
Okay, so speaking of automation of life, mail is something that we've all been used to getting, delivered to us physically. But you guys also did some research specifically around email versus direct mail. And what did you actually find out there?
Yeah, we thought it'd be interesting because, direct email and email can still be very effective. So we're trying to understand with active agers, there are big differences or not. And at a high level, there's not a lot of difference when we look at use of email or direct mail to kind of seek information, and when you're purchasing, which one you use. So, at a high level, they're very similar. But, in terms of likelihood to seek information based on getting different types of ads, a brand email was at the top, and almost 1/4 of people use emails from brands to seek information, which I thought was very high. But from a payback and ROI point of view, 1 out of kind of 4, 1 out of 5 who might react and look for information, all that was very high. Direct mail and kind of product flyers, almost 20%. Seek information, so again, high. And then you've got like TV ads, online ads, just under 20% as well. Radio was kind of lowest at 7%. But in general, kind of those numbers were kind of fairly high in terms of likelihood to kind of seek out information based on that. in terms of purchase levels, again, based on any of those things, they weren't as high as you would imagine, right? But they weren't that much lower. So, but they fell in line in terms of brand emails being the highest, and then kind of direct mail and so on down the line. So the numbers were pretty good for those. In terms of top purchases, the top three were the same in terms of categories, but they changed a little bit for email. Top purchasing rates were for apparel. That could be for clothing or shoes, fast food or takeout, not surprising, and then groceries, kind of food groceries. And we asked people kind of, when you think about email, kind of what are some of the attributes, and, junk and annoying, not surprising, were up there for people. But a third of kind of our respondents said, hey, I found it informative as well. So again, I'll talk to some of the key learning from that, but, if you do it properly, it can work. And then direct mail, same three things, but takeout food, you get the flyers for pizza, Chinese, Thai, or whatever, is still, kind of the number one thing. And then groceries, and then apparel is next. So same kind of generic findings. So I think, my key point or takeaway is that I think that these methods can still be very, very effective with active agers. But like any consumers, it's got to be relevant. It's got to be meaningful. And for this group, they want information. They don't want, all this fluff, right? So, that's my advice if you want to use those tools.
Oh, that's great. So it always comes back to the value that you get from what you're getting. So
Exactly.
okay. And then the third topic we thought we would talk about is social media platforms. I mean, they're all out there. They're running wild, and active agers are definitely engaging with them. And what did you find out? Where are they? What are they doing? And which ones are they liking?
Yeah, so we kind of update this every few months because it does change so much. So we asked people for usage, what usage rates were for all these different platforms. And we're from daily to at least once a week to once a month and so on. So I just focused for the purpose of our conversation on platform usage for people either on a daily basis or at least weekly. And not surprisingly, Facebook is still number one. 60% of our active agers in our community are using Facebook every day. Right. And then there's another 15% that are using at least weekly. So, 3/4 of active agers are on Facebook at least once a week. If you expanded that to at least once a month, it's well over 80, I think 90% now. So Facebook is still kind of the ruler of the social media platforms. Video, we know that active agers love video. It is underused by most marketers and businesses. YouTube, 60% of our active agers are on YouTube at least weekly. So that one's pretty high. And then Instagram would be next at 30%. So, people think about Instagram, oh, it's for young people, but, that number we see rising. And again, if you looked at it on a monthly basis, it is, I think, over 40% now. Then you've got, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, all at about 20%. So that, the usage starts to drop that. And then when you look, some of the platforms like Snapchat, Reddit, TikTok, which is, all the rage now for marketers. I'm not sure if that'll ever come into play much with active agers, but those scored, relatively low. And then we asked people kind of why they were using different social platforms, and they gave a bunch of reasons. And the top three were generally to view posts, to connect and follow people, and to get helpful information. So those were kind of the three key things. And then we wanted to get a sense of kind of what are the greatest benefits of social platforms in general, and then what are the potential greatest negatives. So greatest benefits, kind of ties in a bit. I was talking about why people use it, but firstly is connecting with family and friends. Particularly during COVID, we saw that even more. We didn't ask about Zoom or anything like that, but we know that took off as well at FaceTime. Getting updates on what people are doing. It's interesting. I'm not one person who likes to share where I am every minute of the day, but I do, and I'm sure you do as well, have friends. It's like, oh, there's your to-do list for the day. Great, go at it. I'm not going to mention any names though. And then third benefit is connecting with those who you've lost touch with, which I think is really interesting. And I know I kind of do that as I reminisce a little bit back to, friends from university and stuff like that. It's much easier to find those people now to find out what they're doing. But then potential negatives. The first one is that quickly and widely spreading misinformation or unsure along with that, it's kind of unsure if this information is real or not, you know, these facts or not, right? And you know, we won't get into the politics of all that. Secondly, are potential scams. Is that really, you know, an authentic, you know, link or a site? And third, and not surprising, we've done a bunch of other research on this, is privacy issues, right? Active agers are very concerned about security, about privacy issues. And I know I haven't done any research on this, but you know, anecdotally with my team, who you know, we've got the age varies greatly, but I know younger people generally, it's like, yeah, I'll give my information away. I don't care. It's like it's all available. And I look at them and it's like, are you crazy?
No, it's so true. I mean, we actually wrote a couple articles on this, and baby boomers, unfortunately, tend to be the a little bit more sharing of information that's not necessarily true. So absolutely. And also when it comes to just data and your willingness to give away your information, definitely some generational differences there, and a lot more hesitancy on the part of older people. So interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for that, Jeff. And a shameless plug here at Booming Encore. We're on all those social media platforms, so please make sure you do follow us, because we'll get sharing, you know, information like this, and you'll be able to actually learn more about building your best Booming Encore. So thanks so much for your time, Jeff. Always interesting.
Always a pleasure on my end too. Thank you.
And to everybody out there, hope you found this information valuable and helps you live your best Booming Encore. Bye for now.